Michael A has officially sent himself home. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have some very sad news about Michael A. But before we get into it, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'm your host, Gianna Gravelisi, and I am joined today by Fiona and Hiba Berry. You guys, we did all see this coming, but it just still hurts. So let's just dive in and recap exactly what happened. We've been seeing teasers for weeks showing Michael A having a conflict with himself in regards to missing his 4-year-old son, James. Last night, we saw the full FaceTime call he had with him that ended up sending him over the edge. Michael actually got to FaceTime his son once a day while being on the show, but in this particular call, James actually says, "Maybe daddy left because he doesn't want to see me." You guys, I know we're not parents, so we can't really relate, but watching this was so heartbreaking. I mean, Fiona, what did you think?
Oh my goodness. I mean, from the moment they have been teasing his son saying this, my heart has just been breaking and breaking and breaking because I can't even imagine how difficult every single day must have been to be there for Michael A. And watching the sort of like tears after the call ended and how it really affected him got me thinking, like, I wonder how many of those calls for varying degrees of reasons ended with him breaking down, really struggling to not be with his son. And then to hear his son say these words, like, I knew he was leaving, right? Like, I don't have a kid. I would be out that door so fast. If just like my sibling even said that to me, like, it just is a feeling that you never want somebody who you love and care about to have. So, just my heart broke. I don't know how else to put it.
I'm right there with you. And I love that you said the fact about siblings because I have a 3 and a 5-year-old sister. And I know when I was out at college, they would FaceTime me and tell me that they miss me. And I would be like crying in my dorm. It's like the most heartbreaking thing, especially since he only got one FaceTime a day. Like that's insane. But Hiba, what were your thoughts watching that go on?
Yeah, this was a moment I was dreading because Michael A has been my favorite during this season, and I just wanted him to make it so far to the end and make it all the way to the end. And I was just dreading this moment ever since, like, again, we saw the teaser, and I just didn't want to believe it. I just thought it was going to be, one of those teases that the producers always kind of, put out there. But it ended up being true that he does actually send himself home, and it was really heartbreaking to watch the FaceTime when at the part where James said, I don't feel like you want to see me anymore. And you can tell he was kind of trying to hold it together while he was still on FaceTime. And right when it hung up, oh man, the tears, they just came flooding out of his eyes. And it was just so heartbreaking because he was holding that in and he didn't want James to see that he was, about to break down. And so that was a really sad moment, and I think right then and there, he knew, like, "Okay, this isn't worth it. I need to go back home." And even though he was out here for this journey in regards to himself, wanting to move on from his wife who passed and wanting to find new love, it just seemed like it wasn't worth the sacrifice, and that just really, again, goes to show you the type of person Michael is, and so that just made it even harder. So I think it was just a very, very emotional episode overall.
Yeah, exactly, Hiba. And you're right when you say that's kind of the moment things did take a turn for Michael A. In that moment, we see he starts having second thoughts about staying on the show. He actually says he feels selfish and guilty. He also says, quote, "To go through losing a mother, I don't ever want him," meaning James, "to think that he's not enough." Michael ends up walking up to Katie's room and telling her that he cannot continue the journey. And with hometowns coming up, he expresses that he would only be giving half of himself to her since he'd be caught up thinking about how much he misses his son and how much he should be there for him. And Katie actually does not take this very well at all. She completely breaks down in tears and she says that she saw them going to the very end together. Michael reassures her and explains that he's leaving for James and not because of anything having to do with him and Katie's relationship. He even says that Katie taught him how to love again. Regardless, Katie was heartbroken. She expresses that she felt mad, sad, and confused. And she even says it's possible that her person had just left. And then that's when we see that SUV driving away that we've been seeing in the teasers for weeks now. You guys, This all happened within 20 minutes of the episode. I was crying with both of them. Again, we did see it coming, but it was still so upsetting. But how did we feel about the way Katie reacted, Hiba? Were you surprised by her kind of reaction?
In comparison to Andrew's departure, I thought Katie was a little bit more tamed down emotionally. I mean, of course, she cried, but she wasn't, very distraught in comparison to Andrew leaving. So I thought I was going to expect kind of an Andrew style reaction of her, being very frazzled, very, just a mess. I mean, of course, she got emotional. She cried, but it wasn't anything hysterical or super emotional, again, like we saw in comparison to Andrew. But you could definitely see it was kind of, she was blindsided, so she didn't really know what to expect, but she definitely did cry more after he left. So I just felt bad for both of them in the situation as a whole. So I think, again, this was just a really hard moment to watch. But I mean, again, in the men tell all, he did say that, he's still there, he's still out on the table, he's still 100% committed to her. We'll have to see how this season wraps, if Michael still has, a chance with her after whether this possible engagement works out or not. So we'll just have to stay tuned and hope for Michael. I still have hope out for him.
Exactly. I mean, I agree. I think that Katie did handle it as best as she could. I can't imagine, she just picked her final four. She's about to meet this guy's family, and then he comes up and drops a complete bomb on her, which, I mean, he has every right, right? Again, we don't understand having a child, but I think we can completely understand the situation and respect the fact that he is a great dad. It shows his character. He wants to be there for his son. I was honestly just shocked when Katie felt more anger in a sense, because we have seen Katie be very compassionate and understanding, and for her to feel a little angry, again, she has every right to, but in this case for Michael, I'm shocked that she didn't show like a little more compassion, to be completely honest. I mean, Fiona, what are your thoughts about Katie's reaction?
I have to say, I totally get what you mean, Hiba, about it having a different tone than the Andrew S, because she was so hysterical there, and we didn't see that from her here. But I actually think that this one hit her way harder and that she was way more upset. And that's why we saw her sort of almost like shut down. She couldn't really make eye contact with him. It was a different type of tears. And I just think, I mean, listen, they foreshadowed it with that walk with her and Tayshia in the beginning. Like, she was imagining herself potentially being a mom to James, and she point blank told Tayshia that she was really excited about that. So I think that for her in this moment, it was like sheer shock, right? Like, I kind of felt like they wouldn't have shown us that walk between her and Tayshia had he not been going home, because she almost admitted, right, her front runner in that moment. If you see yourself signing on to mother someone's child, you are really all in. So I think she was shocked. I do think that she didn't handle it in hindsight maybe the way she would even have wanted to, because of course, right? Of course he has to put his son first. And we didn't get that moment from her where she blurts out, absolutely, you need to be like, that wasn't her instinct. It was to be like, well, we could have done this. Like, I think I saw us going all the way. It was to almost like cling on to a second of hope to fight for him staying, knowing that that wasn't the right thing to do. I don't know. I think that to me, she seemed shocked. And that's where maybe a little bit of the lack of compassion in the moment, or a little bit of the lack of hysteria came from too. Like, this was it for her. And to try to process in real time with cameras on you, with someone sitting in front of you, all of that, I don't know how I would have handled it. So definitely heartbreaking all around.
Fiona, that was honestly such a great point. And we have to remember Katie's been going through heartbreak after heartbreak. And then she thinks she figured it out. And then her person that she thought was it finally left. So I can't imagine what she was feeling in the moment, as well as Michael. But Michael is such a fan favorite. And a lot of people are rooting for him to be the next Bachelor. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that it's a possibility? Do you think that he would be down for it? Fiona, what are your thoughts?
So I have said this before. I would absolutely love for him to be the next Bachelor. I've been rooting for him all season. I'm absolutely in love with him. I think he's such a great guy. He's older. I think he really is an example of someone who's going on this show to give themselves a chance at love, and for nothing more than that, right? I think he has all of the qualifications, and I also think it would be a different type of season, right? A single dad, he's mature. I mean, it would just be great TV, right? Would I root for it? 100%. The only thing comes down to the James of it all, right? That's why he had to send himself home this time. So I saw this on Twitter. I think there's a world in which there's no reason they couldn't make him the Bachelor and let James be the third host with Tayshia and Caitlyn, or just let James be on set, right? That's what I would love to see.
Absolutely. I mean, same. Like, I would love for James to be there. Maybe James helps pass out the roses or something at the ceremony. That would be absolutely adorable. But Hiba, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, Fiona. I think, he would be a great lead. It'd be a different change of pace. I mean, I don't think we've had a single father lead in a while. And it's just nice to kind of see more mature relationships with people kind of, more in their mid 30s, with a son in the picture, as far as becoming, a future stepmom, if this were to hypothetically happen. And, even there has been seasons where they have shot at the leads' hometown. So I think there are definitely ways to make this happen, but the other side of the argument is that, when Michael was FaceTiming, I noticed that he kept saying to James that, dad's away on a work trip. So I don't know how segregated and separate he wants to keep this experience and how much he wants to inform James about this dating journey that dad's on. So I'm not sure as far as how involved James will be if he becomes the lead, but I think he kind of has to be involved, in order for this to work, especially if he wants James to be around and to see him as much as possible. But I think regardless, he still can keep James in the dark a little bit if they do decide to shoot during hometowns. Of course, Michael can come visit anytime he wants if he wants to step away from wherever they're shooting at the location. So there are ways to do this, but as far as, juggling, I think it might be, a little bit off the cuff a little bit more, especially when there is a child involved. But I do think it is possible, and I think it would be a really good season and a lot of people would tune in.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very much so possible. I mean, they can film it in his hometown. They can let James be on set. They can definitely make it work logistically. I'm just a little hesitant because I think that we need to, protect Michael A at all costs. Like, I don't want him to see get hurt. I couldn't even stand to watch him cry in those 20 minutes between his son and then having to leave Katie. And, that was one heartbreak in and of itself. And I don't want to see multiple women break his heart just because of what he's already been through in life. I don't think he deserves that. I think he deserves a normal love story outside of a reality television show. But if he's comfortable and he's down, then Michael A for Bachelor. But we just don't know if he is, if somebody else is. For now, we will definitely keep you updated when that time comes. But for now, that is all we have for you guys. But we always want to know your thoughts. Were you crying over Michael A? Did you see that moment coming? Let us know down in the comments below. And as always, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Come give us a follow. Our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.